up and says, hey, you're going to shoot yourself. You're going to shoot yourself in the femoral artery and you're going to bleed to death. Or you're going to shoot yourself in the leg or the foot or somewhere worse than that. And as you touch the pad, if that gun were still to go off right there, it would hit the belt clip, the edge of the kydex. I've got 6 reasons why I believe appendix carry is faster and easier than any other position you could carry on your body. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, my name is Anthony, and here we talk about all things preparedness, training, and education. And today we are talking about training, concealed carry training, specifically why I appendix carry a Glock. I have on my person a Glock 43X MOS in the appendix carry position. I have been carrying the Glock 43X MOS in the appendix carry position for a long time now, and I love it. Now, when you talk about appendix carry, especially of a Glock, the internet and especially social media blows up and says, hey, you're going to shoot yourself. You're going to shoot yourself in the femoral artery and you're going to bleed to death. Or you're going to shoot yourself in the leg or the foot or somewhere worse than that. And then usually it'll break down into a bunch of jokes and stuff like that. But on a serious note, it is no more inherently dangerous to carry a Glock or any other striker-fired polymer pistol that's out on the market in the appendix position than it is to carry that pistol in the strong side hip position or the small of the back position or in the shoulder position, because all of those, if treated unsafely, are inherently dangerous. All of those, if treated safely and following the 4 rules of gun safety, specifically treating all guns as if they're loaded, pointing it in a safe direction at all times, keeping your finger off the trigger until you actually have acquired your sights and you're ready to shoot, and knowing your target and what's behind it. So not pointing this at anything that you don't want to destroy. If you'll follow all those gun safety rules, then you will be absolutely safe and guaranteed, yes, 100% guaranteed, you will not have a negligent discharge unless you are carrying a SIG P320. Joking, not joking. Anyway, back to the Glock. Seriously, Glock is a reliable, trustworthy platform. It does not go off on its own. You have to press the trigger, manipulate the trigger with something, your finger or anything else introduced into the holster, to cause a Glock to go off. So Glock simply does not do that. And carrying in the appendix position, as I just said, is just as safe as any other position. If you are in doubt about carrying with one in the chamber, I've left a link for the 10 deadly mistakes of concealed carry. Go look at that. One of the deadly mistakes is not carrying around in the chamber, but I give you some exercises in that video that you can follow to make yourself confident with carrying around in the chamber if you're not confident in doing that. As far as being confident carrying in the appendix position with a round in the chamber with a striker-fired gun like a Glock, you need to have a quality holster. You need to have a holster that is also rigid, a full kydex shell that covers the entire trigger guard, but it's also comfortable enough to carry in the appendix position. And you also have to practice reholstering slowly and deliberately into the holster. What I mean by that is you are following the rules of gun safety. You're never pointing this at anything you don't want to destroy. And people say, well, that's impossible holstering. It's not. You simply flex your hips forward. You clear the shirt. You clear whatever needs to be cleared, if anything does, in the holster. And you're looking that muzzle down to the holster. And as you touch the pad, if that gun were still to go off right there, it would hit the belt clip, the edge of the kydex. It might scare me, but it's not going to shoot me because the angle is out from me and I am flexed forward and now reholstering that gun, if you can see, down into that holster. And so if you follow the rules of gun safety and you always deliberately and intentionally, slowly look that gun into the holster and build up a habit of always pointing the muzzle away from your body, it has been shown, even with a laser, that bullet will not strike your body. It's when you get careless and you point that muzzle down into your body like that, that's when accidents happen, and that's when stupidity or carelessness takes over and you get hurt. All right, enough about safety. Again, if you want to see my whole Glock 43X MOS setup, that is down in the description below. You will see a link to my whole setup, not only down in the description below, but in the first comment, I will pin that. And that's going to include showing you this holster. This is the Max X 2.0 by Tactipac, and it is a dedicated appendix carry rig with the extra mag caddy and the full Kydex shell, as well as the comfortable backer. And that's the way I love. You can see how worn this holster is. I've been carrying this holster for years for the Glock 43X MOS when I do carry it, and I love this holster. Absolutely love the comfort of it. I love the concealment of it, and that's why I'm convinced appendix carry is the better option for concealed carry all around. So let's get straight into it. Enough about safety, enough about the holster. I've got 6 reasons why I believe appendix carry is faster and easier than any other position you could carry on your body. So reason number 1 is just better overall concealment. Why? Because the gun naturally sits in the hollow of your body between your pelvis and your lower abdomen. So when you're looking at appendix carry, you have a hollow right here at like the 1 o'clock position. And that muzzle, no matter how long the gun, even if you take the Glock 19 in the appendix carry position, and it is going to fit in the hollow of that area. Not so much strong side hip. You don't have any hollow. You do in the small of your back, but not much. You have much more of a hollow in the front. And so that's the first reason. And then clothing naturally drapes to the front of your body. It does not naturally drape over your hip because you have your shoulder jutting out back here, and then your hip juts out as well. Your hip doesn't suck in. Well, your abdomen does, on many of us, suck in at least lower than your chest. And so clothing naturally drapes in the front of your body. And so it gives you greater concealment and easier concealment in the front because that shirt just falls right over the gun. And it happens to work well with even shorter shirts or lighter shirts, no matter what you have on or what material type it's made of. Some do not work well when you're carrying strong side hip, and they get hung up on the butt of that gun, especially when you bend over, you see that. Or inevitably this happens and something's hung up like that because you've bent over, or you see the whole gun coming out from under your shirt. That's a no-go for me in the concealed carry world because it's concealed for a reason. So I've never had my gun exposed in the appendix carry position because it's also right in the front where my eyes are front and I can see it. And so it's simple as that. It is better concealment overall and easier to conceal because of the way your body is shaped. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2, it's a faster and more consistent draw. Look, your hands naturally rest toward the front of your body. It's not natural to reach around to the back of your body to try and draw a gun. And it's definitely not natural now to reach around, try and clear the garment and draw the gun at the same time. Especially because your hands naturally fall at the front of your body. That's just the way we're designed. So it's very natural to reach right in the front and produce that firearm. And so it is more natural of a position because your hands naturally fall at the front of your body. It's also less shoulder rotation. It's just right in the front. You're not having to rotate around and rotate that shoulder back around to get the gun. It's just really no shoulder rotation at all to get to the gun. And then it's more convenient in precarious situations or different situations. You know, if I have to retrieve this gun from strong side hip in the seated position, and I've got an armrest and I've got a back that I have to deal with, and the gun's trapped in there, I've got to now get under my shirt that I'm probably sitting on or leaning on, and then get to that gun. So if I'm in a restaurant and I have to produce that gun from this seated position, no, that's not going to work very well or very easily or very efficiently or very fast, and it's definitely not going to be inconspicuous to lean forward and try and do that, or even to lean forward and creep your hand up your back slowly to get it. However, in the appendix position, it's right there, and if you're even across the table from me, Han Solo style, I'm going to get you. And so, again, deliberate reholstering of that firearm in the appendix position, and that deals with the safety situation. But you can see point number 2 is a faster and more consistent draw stroke from the appendix carry position than from the strong side hip, especially when you're seated or you're in other positions other than standing. And that kind of leads into number 3. It's easier in restricted access positions. Again, if you are strapped into a cockpit, if you are in a booth in a restaurant, if you are anywhere in the seated position in your vehicle with a seatbelt on, it is much easier to get to the appendix carry position than it is to get to the strong side hip. Not to mention if you're grappling with somebody and you're on the ground, rolling around, and your hands are in front of you. They're not in back. And so chances are you're going to be able to get to your weapon much more easier and more efficiently in the front than in the rear. And that naturally leads into point number 4, better weapon retention and control. Again, if you're in that grappling scenario, or you're in a crowded situation or a close quarter situation, or again, you're fending somebody else off with your hands, maybe you're carrying a child in one hand and you need to get to it one hand in the front. Again, you can do that in the appendix carry position better than you can do that, and faster and easier than you can do that in the strong side hip position. And so overall, better weapon retention and control in the appendix carry position. All right, on to number 5. The appendix carry position is just more comfortable for a lot of people. There are a lot of people out there who are finding out that, hey, if you give appendix carry a chance and you have the right setup, you have the right belt, you have the right gun, the right holster, and you have the right clothing choice, and you take the time to figure it out for your body specifically. You may have to tweak it off to the side a little bit and pull it up just a little bit. You may have to get rid of the hip hugger pants and actually pull your pants up to your waistline. But when you figure it out, I promise you, it is 10 times comfortable than strong side hip. Because, again, of the natural hollow, again, with the right setup and holster, this one conforms straight to my body. And so it actually bends with my body all the way around if I need it to. It's not hard kydex anymore. It is independently flowing material that shapes to the body. And so it is a much more comfortable situation for me than sitting down. The biggest mistake people make is that muzzle drops too low that way, and now they feel like they got to sit like this. And if you do mess up and your pants aren't high enough when you sit down, you can always, hike your pants up before you sit. But even if not, I can through my shirt now grab the back of that holster and grab the gun at the same time, so nothing's moving independent of one another. And then I just give a little tug up on it when I sit down, and I'm perfect. Having the natural crease, I'm sitting up straight. It's not uncomfortable. I could sit like this literally for hours with no problems at all, whether I'm in the vehicle or I'm in an office chair, sitting at a restaurant, whatever the case, in the seated position. It's just more comfortable. Standing up, it's a no-brainer. It's super comfortable standing up. Running, exercising, playing with the kids, whatever I need to do, I can do in the appendix carry position. Squatting down, bending over, it doesn't compromise anything in that position at all. If you bend over and you have a gun in the strong side hip position and you bend over, you're going to see printing there. If I bend over in the appendix carry position, I don't have any issues at all. Nobody is none the wiser. And so it doesn't matter what you do in the appendix carry position, unless you just take your shirt off, you're not going to be printing in any way, shape, or form. So in the appendix carry position, it's more comfortable. It doesn't dig into your back, it doesn't stab into your kidneys. It just lays down the abdomen of your body in that natural hollow, canted off to the side. And so very comfortable position to carry in. And then the other thing I'll say from that comfort perspective, if you've ever had your gun trapped between your t-shirt and your car seat, or your t-shirt and the chair or any other surface, especially if it's a hard surface, you're sitting on a wooden bench or something like that, or God forbid you put your back up against some concrete, you're going to get a hole in your t-shirt like that. And then you're going to also wear a hole in your car seat eventually because the gun, that upper slide and sight area of the gun is constantly rubbing between those two surfaces. Your back pressure put up against the seat or whatever the case, through your shirt and into the material. That doesn't happen in the appendix carry position because it's in the front. There's nothing pressing up against it, so your t-shirts don't wear out. It doesn't wear your car seat out. You never get a hole in your shirt, and it's not grinding into your back. And so from a comfort perspective, and then from a save my shirt perspective, that doesn't happen. So that's another reason why appendix carry is not only more comfortable, but it's faster and easier in all respects. All right, moving on to number 6. And number 6 is improve concealment with movement. Usually you have to be very conscious of your movements when you're carrying strong side hip. You know as well as I do, if you've ever carried strong side hip, that the butt of the gun is constantly sticking out. Clothing is constantly getting hung up on it. If you bend over the wrong way or move the wrong way or lean up against something the wrong way, take a shopping cart in Walmart and you lean over and you're talking to somebody, the butt of the gun is usually sticking out and your clothing is hung up on it. In the appendix carry position, that just doesn't happen. Bending doesn't affect it. It actually conceals it more. So the only way I would be seen printing is if the wind was blowing 15 to 20 mile an hour in the front towards me and that shirt stretches like that. That's the only way. Otherwise, you're never going to know that I have that gun unless I'm ready to use it and you're on the wrong end of it. And so it actually increases concealment with movement because of the position that it's in. It doesn't, you don't have to think about it at all. Oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do that? You might have to think about what you always have to think about in the back if you raise your hands. But if you raise your hands up to grab something off the top shelf in Walmart and then put your hands back down, chances are your t-shirt gets hung up on the butt of your gun. Doesn't happen in the front. And so from all around, every aspect, it is easier, faster, more efficient, more comfortable. Appendix carry is just better overall. And those are the 6 reasons that I wanted to share with you about appendix carry. If you benefited from this video, would you do me a favor and share this video with someone else who might benefit from it? Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit that bell notification so that you get notified every time we put out great content like this. As always, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Thank you for making the choice to defend yourself and those you love. God bless you and yours.